Hey, it's Katie, and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today's video is going to be super fun because I created my own book tag, and since it's summertime and I feel like there's tons of carnivals and things like that, I wanted to create my own carnival book tag. So basically I have a list of like 10 different things you would find at a carnival, and there's prompts that go with it which will help me recommend books to you guys, and I'm really excited. So I will do my best to remember to put the prompts in the description so you guys can make your own videos of this tag and comment below which books you would recommend for each prompt. But I'm really excited, so let's jump into it. Up first, we have a Ferris Wheel. Pick a book that you think will end up being a YA classic. And the book I thought of for this prompt was Daughter of the Pirate King by Trisha Levenseller. I know that this is already really hyped up, but it 1000% lives up to the hype, and I think there's something in this book for everybody. There's intense action, there's like nautical pirate vibes, so there's a lot of good banter between characters and a lot of good friendships. There's also a really fun romance, and it has so much going for it, and the writing is beautiful. Trisha Levenseller's writing is one of my favorite types of writing. Just the way she writes is so captivating and intense and so fun to read, and her characters jump off the page. I feel like they're all so vibrant and full of life, and especially the main character, Alosa, is just badass, and she's such a great heroine, and I just think this will be a classic one day because it's already popular and hyped up, and it lives up to that hype. Next, we have Cotton Candy. Pick a book that is light and fluffy, and I love excuses to talk about this book, so of course I had to recommend Even If the Sky Falls by Mia Garcia. I read this book a little over a year ago, and I honestly might reread it soon because I feel like this is the perfect summer read. This takes place during Mardi Gras in New Orleans, but it gives off like such summer vibes. It takes place over 24 hours, and our two main characters are strangers when they first meet at the beginning of the story, and they basically adventure all throughout the city and take all New Orleans has to offer, and it's just so fun and vibrant, and it's just such a great fun adventure read. I don't really know how to describe it. It's definitely light and fluffy, and it's just amazing. I don't hear enough people talking about this book. After that, we have Bumper Cars. Choose a book with a lot of action or fight scenes, and I think Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi has a ton of action in it. It's been a while since I read this book, but I know that I absolutely loved it, and we're still waiting for the third book in the series. It's been like over a year, I think, since I read the first two books, so hopefully we're getting a third one soon, but it's just so good. It's so action-packed. The world building is absolutely amazing. This is some of the best world building I've ever read, and the characters are all diverse and so fun to read about, but also they go through a lot of heartbreaking things, so it's definitely an emotional roller coaster, but the action is top notch in these books for sure. The next one we have is a stuffed animal or a prize, so choose a book you think you will cherish forever. And of course, without a doubt, I have to choose Carnival by Stephanie Garber. I talk about this in all my videos. I'm going to keep it short because you've probably heard me gush about this book, but it's amazing. There's a lot of nostalgia around this one, and I've already reread it, and I will probably continue to keep rereading it, so definitely one I will cherish forever. Up next, we have Fun House. Pick a book with a lot of twists and turns, and the only book I could really think of for this was Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. There's two parts of this book for sure that were huge plot twists that caught me off guard, and I still am shocked by to this day. Obviously, we are waiting for a sequel. Kingdom of the Cursed will come out in October, and I cannot wait to hopefully get a little bit of resolve in that book, but definitely some huge plot twists, and I know this book's also really hyped up. I absolutely loved it, so if you're waiting for a sign to read it, this is your sign. After that, we have popcorn. Pick a book with a lot of pop culture references. And I thought this one was a really fun prompt, but it was honestly really hard to pick a book for this one. And the one that popped in my head the quickest was Love Unscripted by Owen Nichols. I read this book a while ago and didn't really enjoy it too much, so obviously I kind of blocked it out of my memory, but I do remember that there are a ton of movie references, like so many movie references in this book, and that has the most pop culture references out of all the books I've read, I think. So it's definitely interesting. If you're a huge movie buff, maybe you would enjoy this. I just didn't understand a lot of the rom-com references, so it got a little bit confusing, but definitely a lot of pop culture in here. The next one we have is Ring Toss. Pick a book you had high expectations for, but ended up being disappointed in the end. And I feel like this one's going to be a little controversial, but I'm going to say Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I feel like this one is a pretty popular read, and I don't think it's a bad book by any means. It just includes a lot of elements that I usually stay away from in books. They're things that I don't really like. It has a lot of historical fiction, which I guess historical fiction might not be the right word, but it does take place in the past. I can't remember how long, but there's some scenes from, I think, like the 1800s and other scenes from the present. So there's a lot of time jumping back and forth. There were also a ton of different perspectives that I could not keep the characters straight for the life of me. Like, I could not keep them straight. And just the combination of the difference in time and all of the characters, and I feel like there were some other things too, but I can't remember what else, but those are some of the main reasons why this book just didn't quite work for me, but I had such high expectations and I really wanted to love this one. After that, we have a clown. Pick a book that made you laugh. And the most recent one that really kept making me laugh and catching me off guard was Crave by Tracy Wolff. I feel like I might have mentioned this before, but I went into this book with very low expectations, and I was pleasantly surprised. I really love this book. It's now one of my favorite series, and it's just absolutely amazing. But I kept laughing. Like, I don't know what it was about this book, but there were so many things that caught me off guard. I expected it to be really cringy and awkward, and there were definitely some of those moments, but overall, it was just a really refreshing read. It had some nostalgia to it, and I'm not quite sure why, but also each chapter has a title, and they all kept making me giggle, and I kept trying to tell my fiance about it, but I don't think he understood why it was so funny to me, but I really enjoyed that, so definitely some humor in this one. After that, we have Lemonade. Pick a book that left a sour taste in your mouth. And the first and only book that really popped in my head was Spells Trouble by PC and Kristen Cast. I feel like I've talked about this book in a wrap-up. I think I read it in May. I can't remember now. If I remember, I will link the wrap-up that this one is in. But I absolutely hated this book. And I feel like hate is such a strong word. But I cannot think of one thing that I genuinely liked about this book, which is so sad. I had such high expectations. I definitely thought I would love this. I mean, everything about it seemed right up my alley, but I ended up disliking so much about it. I didn't like the writing. I felt like it was really immature, and it was weird because the characters were really young, like teenage, like 15, 16 in high school. I don't know if that was a coherent sentence, but they were like 16 years old, and there were some sexual encounters between two 16-year-olds, which I guess is okay, but it was just weird because of the way that they went about it, and I feel like the writing in this book seemed like it was geared toward younger kids, but then, like I said, there were like the sexual encounters and just like innuendos and stuff that I felt like wouldn't be okay for like the younger kids. So I don't really know what this book was trying to achieve, and the magic was really disappointing. I mean, it's supposed to be this fun like witchy story, but literally their spells were crappy. It was like, to make it rain, they chanted "make it rain" 3 times. Like, I could come up with something better than that, you know? Like, it was just really disappointing. And I know I'm like tearing apart this book, but I just really didn't like it. And then last but not least, we have Fireworks. Pick a book with an explosive ending. And there are a bunch of books that popped in my head for this one, but the one that really threw me and to this day hurts my soul is the ending of Heartless by Marissa Meyer. This is an Alice in Wonderland retelling, and it's one of my all-time favorite retellings. I am obsessed with this book. I actually listened to the audiobook and loved it so much that I needed a physical copy, but it literally broke me. Like, this book is so good. It perfectly captures the essence of Alice in Wonderland, and it was just so well done, but the ending was crazy. And if you've read it, you know why, but this book absolutely destroyed me in the best way. I honestly kind of want to reread it now, even though it's just going to hurt me more, but it's that good. All right, so that is the end of my Carnival book tag. I would love it if you guys did this tag on your channels, or if you made a social media post like on Instagram or something, or even just commented below which books you would use for these prompts. I feel like that would be really fun. And I hope you guys really enjoyed it. I had so much fun making this video and creating these prompts. If you did enjoy it, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you do subscribe, click the notification bell so you know when I upload next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I can't wait to see you in my next video.